Greetings, viewers. Welcome to our Back to School episode, where we are discussing the preparedness of teachers, preparedness of parents, the preparedness of the school ecosystem itself with regards to schools opening for the third term of the year 2025. To help me discuss preparedness for schools opening is a panel of experts, particularly teachers drawn from different parts of the country and the leadership of the Amalgamated Rural Teachers Union of Zimbabwe. Greetings to the panelists. I will invite each one of you to introduce yourself to the viewers. Can you kindly unmute and introduce yourselves?
Okay. Greetings, comrade. I'm Mr. Manyepo from Gweru region. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Manyepo. Comrade Danisa, you can introduce yourself.
Thanks, President and other comrades for welcoming me on this platform. I'm Mr. Togarepi Danisa from Masvingo province. I'm here on this platform sharing with you perspectives concerning school openings in our region.
Thank you so much, Comrade Togarepi. Comrade President, can you introduce yourself?
How are you, comrades? I'm Christine Kayumba. I'm the Vice President of the Amalgamated Rural Teachers Union of Zimbabwe, RT. I'll be sharing the union's perspectives on schools opening.
Thank you so much, Vice President. So let's quickly jump into it. We realize some of our participants are failing to join because of network challenges, but we can proceed with the discussion. We want to hear from you, comrade. From where you are standing, are we ready for schools opening? We want to hear this perspective from a teacher and also what you are hearing from your learners, what you are hearing from the parents community, what you are hearing from the school administration. Is the whole school ecosystem ready for schools opening? I will begin with you, Comrade Manyepo. Tell us what you are hearing in Midlands.
Once again, thank you for adding me in this esteemed discussion. Honestly, I really think schools are not ready yet to open from the teacher's point of view. Personally, I think I've exhausted all the funds that I had received as a salary from the government, which is me to go back to work, concerning the expenses that I would incur to reach work alone. It's very difficult for me. Let me talk about the transport fees that I would want to source, since my salary is already gone. It's very difficult. I also add my household expenses. They are just not meeting my salary. It's not okay for me, say to say the least. I would like to pay rent. I would like to pay school fees for my children that are going the schools are already opening and they are already asking me for school fees and to look after my family, as well as to have
Okay, I think we seem to have lost Comrade Manyepo there, but we got it so clear that he is struggling at a personal level with getting even bus fare to go back to work, also the expenses, among other challenges that he raised. And from where he stands, I think he might struggle to get back to his workplace and deliver for our children. But let's get to you, Comrade Togarepi. What is the situation like in Masvingo?
Thank you, Comrade President. The situation in Masvingo is terrible. It's terrific because, the government on its part, as the one responsible for our national education, it has not done enough to facilitate the smooth opening of the schools for the third term. Nothing is completely done by the government to show that they are ready for welcoming students, for welcoming teachers for the third term, because definitely on the part of teachers, it has not done anything in order to empower them so that they can be able to travel from the holidays or for them to be able to be engaged with the learners during the third term. Also,
my network is
on another
tripping.
thing, we've got to consider the role the parents. The parents were expecting to sell their produce from the GMB so that they can get school fees for their students. The payment system from the Grain Marketing Board is very poor. They are being paid in that deceptive currency, the ZiG, and the payments are not coming in time, so parents are not ready for the third term. We also have to consider that the rural setting is in poverty. Most of the rural schools they are affected by a number of problems that range from as you initially said, we have lost our animals due to January disease. We have lost part of the harvest due to poor storage, and raising up school fees for our children becomes very difficult, especially for the rural farmers who want their learners to come back to school for the third term. There are other problems also facing the learners. They need to come back to school with dressed up properly, but due to the poverty-stricken backgrounds, that will continue to see the erosion of our or even the poor circulation of money in the rural communities. That makes a part of our learners not ready to return to school because they are facing problems like getting proper uniforms. They cannot even afford a decent pair of shoes so that they can come to school ready for the third term. That means a lot of things has got to be done. I don't know how our government will be able to be engaged with the learners, especially those who are affected by such poor conditions. On the part of the teachers, say we are really saddened by the government's position that it is not willing to pay or to remunerate the teachers properly so that they can come up prepared for the third term. We cannot afford to send our own children to schools. We cannot afford to dress properly so that we can present ourselves before the learners. The other thing is that we are losing confidence every day, as majority of us are suffering from a diminished remuneration that does not reflect our abilities as professionals. It is actually a slave wage, something that continue to hound us every day. We are attending funerals every time, as most of our comrades are being hospitalized, and resultantly they are going to die in hospitals because a lot of things are happening. Thank you, comrade.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade Danisa, for raising those critical issues. You spoke clearly to the poverty situation in rural areas, and which is worsened by the failure of government to pay for produce from farmers. You mentioned the issue of the Grain Marketing Board, which is paying farmers in the ZiG currency, the dying of animals, particularly cattle, mainly due to January disease, because we used to have a robust veterinary service which extended to almost every corner of the country, which has also died away, and now we are losing our the livestock. So really, the teacher remuneration issue, the challenges of learners who can't even get the uniforms. So in short, Masvingo is not ready for schools opening from where you sit. I see Comrade Longina Rufu. You can quickly introduce yourself and share your story from where you are. Are schools ready for opening? Are parents ready? Are teachers ready? Comrade Longina Rufu. Okay, she seemed to be struggling with the network. We will jump to get the overall assessment from Vice President Christine Kayumba. What are you gathering as a union with regards to schools' preparedness to open from the parents, teachers, and learners across the country? Comrade Christine.
Thank you, President. From what I've gathered from our teachers and also from the parents, schools are not ready to open. You have heard it from the other teachers from various provinces who are citing a lot of issues that needs to be addressed first so that the schools can open smoothly. As a union, we are faced with a lot of challenges, especially from our members who are deployed in the rural areas. These issues need to be addressed first so that we go back to schools opening. Uh, like what we have heard from the comrade from Masvingo, I'm also a teacher stationed in Mashonaland West in Jimba district. The problems, they are just the same, comrades. We are not ready. We do not even have bus fares for traveling, especially rural communities. The fares, the bus fares, they are quite exorbitant. Our members, having received these meager salaries, they cannot go back to school. I read about the increment of 46 ZiG. What is that to our members? 40 ZiG is not even insignificant to our pleas that we are calling for the government to address. So as a union, comrade, I'm afraid to say that we are not even ready to go back to school.
Thank you so much, President, for that particular update. I will come back to you to get the in-depth and appreciation of the state of engagement between the workers and the government with regards to improvement of conditions of service. But before with that, let me go back to Comrade Manyepo to say we lost you earlier on when you are trying to tell us the situation in the Midlands. Maybe you can round it off to say what is the state of preparedness with regards to schools opening in Midlands, and then also go on to pass your own personal recommendation to what should be done if we are going to be improving access to education. We have almost 3 million prospective learners, prospective students who are out of school. We just see in 2024 alone, we lost 50,000 learners who dropped out of school. So we would also want, beyond the problems, then to hear from you what you would personally recommend if we are going to improve access to education. Have teachers in the class, have all the learners in the classroom. Comrade Manyu.
Thank you again, President. I'm sorry, my network was actually tripping here. Again, my personal view on schools opening. Honestly, to be honest, yeah, I don't think schools are prepared to open, as articulated by most comrades around Zimbabwe from various schools. I work in rural Gweru, Lower Gweru to be specific. There are several challenges that I just need to point out as quickly as possible. For example, Midlands is full of mines, and there are several mining activities happening in and around schools. Like you remember the Kwekwe issue of Globe and Phoenix primary school and secondary school, only to mention but a few. Most learners, they are out of school in Midlands due to these mining activities happening in and around their schools. And especially, okay, the boy children, the male learners, they quickly leave schools at around maybe grade 7 or as soon as they are able to fend for themselves, so to speak. Let me just say, around the ages of 9 upwards, most learners in Midlands quickly leave school. And as a teacher, it's very difficult for you. We always laugh about this in staff rooms and in meetings as teachers and as educators. We mention how can you tell a learner the importance of education whilst a teacher cannot afford a car that can be bought by just some learner who has gone to Korkoza for a month. Then I move on to also the girl children. They are quickly out of school due to these Korkozas running around rampant in schools, and it's also violence. Then the challenges we also have in Midlands. Midlands is not good for agricultural activities like the rains. It's not as good as Marsh East and Manicaland. And due to that, most parents, they don't have income to pay school fees, and most girl children find themselves out of school. And the violence also, again, is a bit problematic around schools, mostly in rural Midlands. And I think that alone, not only alone, like can never help in making these schools open this third term. Okay, we move on to how we can improve the measures to mitigate these issues that I've just pointed out. These measures can be, I think the government can address simply by putting in most areas around Midlands, police force. They can also improve security, right, in these areas. I think in some areas, some parts of Midlands, such as Sidakeni there in Empress, we actually, I think those areas, they actually need even an army camp would be very vital for the security of learners in and around areas, because there's the problem of what Korkozas, who are always violent, and it's very difficult for learners for learning and teaching to happen in Midlands. Then we move on to another recommendation that I might suggest, the one we have always been crying about, improvement of teacher salaries. The salaries issue is always a problem with us. For us to deliver and to work as teachers, I think we really need proper salaries, just like as ATUS, we've been crying for the 1,260, which is above the datum poverty line. And I think that is all that we have. That I have. Thank you, comrade.
Thank you so much for clearly articulating that position, which we really appreciate. And then, so obviously, we need then to be clear to say, sorry for that. We need to be clear to say there is a violence in Midlands which has to be addressed, and our police officers, instead of them remaining on the road just to get bribes by the trafficking public, they should also be strengthening security around our school, protect our learners. It's talked of improvement of teacher salaries. So the menace of artisanal mining in Midlands is one big issue that we can't ignore, which has to be addressed. But whilst we are raising all these issues, we should recall that the Constitution of the Republic of Zimbabwe in Section 75 mandates the state of Zimbabwe to fund basic education. So we also want them to hear from other speakers what is the state of BEAM with regards to funding for education. We know BEAM is supposed to be funding access to education. Are we receiving the BEAM funds in the schools? So let's hear from Comrade Longina before we go to Comrade Togarepi Danisa. Comrade Longina, if you are now able to speak. Comrade Longina Rufu.
Hello.
Yes, you can go ahead, Comrade. We can hear you.
Okay. Unfortunately, I usually follow and with network challenges, but I'll just give one or two things that we are facing here as national language. Currently,
there is a lot of background noise where you are. Or you can go ahead.
Let me try and change the background.
Okay, Comrade Togarepi Danisa, you can come in while she's trying to change your background. We want to hear from you what can be done to reverse this trend of dropouts of learners, to have teachers motivated in the classrooms, to have our schools providing a quality education for our learners. You are on mute. Can you unmute your mic, Comrade Danisa?
Thank you. Doing a lot as teachers in trying to motivate our learners inside the classroom situation. We try to personally talk to some of the learners who are having some personal problem so that they remain focused with their schoolwork. But then the problems comes with them learners when they look at the status of their teachers trying to motivate them. That is something that they will spend the whole day laughing about, because there is nothing that the teacher has to show in order to convince the learners that the pathway we are trying to convince them to follow, we actually bring about a smile for them to talk about in the near future. The conditions of the teacher has been pauperized, so that makes it very difficult for the teachers to become in fact celebrities or motivators. There is no inspiration in the life of the teacher that the learners may become motivated. So our government on that part has got a lot to do in order to bring back the confidence. The social decadence on the lives of the teacher is becoming deplorable. The condition, when we look in the local vicinity, the teachers are the laughing stock. Every example of poverty is going to be likened to the status of the teacher. That makes our society very poor. I have been thinking of a certain Indian adage where they would say, if you want to make the society poor, then you have got to address the status of the teacher. So the only thing we can talk about in order to address the problems that we are facing as Zimbabwean education is for the government to seriously consider its commitment to develop education. Because whenever you lead an enlightened nation, it means that nation is progressive. But when we are faced with an astonishing number of dropouts in classes, it means something is very wrong with the manner in which our education system is being run or is being administered. We look back at the BEAM facility that has been availed to our learners, it has not been paid for more than 3 years now, and the school is being, especially in the rural amenities, is being run. The school situation is being run by less than 20% of the learners who are paying their school fees. Majority of the learners, they have been exempted from paying fees by this BEAM facility, but nothing has been done in order to make the payments. The payments are not reaching to the schools. I don't know where these payments are being made, but so far we have gone more than 3 years now without any help from the government as schools. And on the other issue, we also need to plead with the government to address the primary concerns that have got to do with the administration or the running of the school. There must be serious consideration of this institution, which is called education, because it addresses the prime life of learners who are young as young as 3 years, 4 years. They are preparing to come back to school. But what do they do when they come to school? Are they going to interact with people who are motivated? Are we not making teachers a dangerous instrument to the learners? Because we cannot trust our learners to people who are in themselves dangerous to the society. Because when they are pauperized, when they are living in abject poverty, what benefit are they going to put to the life of the learners? That is a very big question that must be done. On the other party, we have been complaining about government in every situation, government in hospitals, government in agriculture, government in mining. The government is not being particularly serious in addressing the Zimbabwean situation. We are becoming a live stock in every area, in every sphere of our social and political life, because that face which we at political rallies trying to make fun of the situation is not the same approach we should be using when we running government business. We need to implement policy. We need to come up with a number of activities that can be made and then followed up, especially the welfare of workers. The welfare of workers is a priority the government must consider, because once teachers are motivated, they are ready to do the rest. Let government do something so that teachers can do the rest and make the nation develop. That is my input, Comrade President. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Comrade Togarepi. That was concise. Indeed, we are now a laughing stock, and the government is not paying attention to the critical issues that you raised. They've neglected BEAM, among other things. Now, I will now jump into specific issues from policy level, then go back again to the general discussion. So, for example, before you answer this, Comrade President, to say what is we have heard from the teachers themselves, their recommendations, but I wanted to get from you, when these learners go back to the schools, and these teachers, if they will go back to the schools, what is also the situation with regards to teacher-pupil ratio and teacher-book ratio? We have heard stories of high staff turnover, serious attrition that we are hearing of almost 15,000 teachers leaving the profession every year. What is the current state of teacher-learner ratio and the learner-book ratio? And then also you can also speak to the issues that were being raised earlier on by members on what the union has been doing so far. Comrade Christine.
Okay. Okay, I'm in. Uh, uh, Thank you so much. The teacher ratio in our schools is very alarming. You wouldn't believe that a teacher, a single teacher, especially in primary schools, we have found yes, there myself as an example. I teach languages. I have a class of 80 students, up to 80 to 100 students in one class. And the students, even their sitting arrangements, we do not have enough furniture, and they are just crammed and stuffed into a desk so that they find somewhere to sit. The situation, especially in rural schools and also in most urban schools, needs to be addressed. We have a lot of teacher shortages in schools, and the ministries. Um, I also teach the whole school languages, the whole schools, and considering how many compositions that I mark at a enrollment of around 350 at my school, marking all those compositions. So I think this needs to be addressed as a matter of urgency. Yes, we might underpaid, and also who lacks motivation when he goes or when she goes back to school is just faced with a, a a crowd of a classroom and a whole lot of workload. So this, I think, we need to act on this as a matter of urgency. Our teachers, they are overburdened, and we have had cases. There is a recent case when an ECD student drowned at a pool at a school. Uh, these issues, they rise because the teachers, they are just overwhelmed with a lot of students, and a single teacher cannot man the whole classroom. And in other cases, there is need for these teachers also to have assistance to assist them in teaching and also in learning. So, Comrade President, our schools, they are overloaded. The teacher is overloaded with a lot of work and also a lot of marking, and the infrastructure uh, doesn't allow to accommodate such a number of students. And also coming from what the other comrades has held in regard to school dropouts, it's so surprising that this era and time we still have a lot of school dropouts. Surely, indeed, being lack of having school fees is just one of the major causes that students are dropping out, especially in national education. We didn't receive well. So our parents who rely on agriculture to fund education, We find many students dropping out of school, and also we have students who are dropping out and also going to mine as small scale miners in Mashonaland West in areas like Chinoi, Karoi, a few. So I want education. Education needs ne beam issues. The beam is by there's a time when we didn't have even the chalks, which cost $1 because of this beam. 3/4 of the school, they are funded by beam. So the day-to-day running of the school becomes a problem when beam takes time to pay. And even when it pays, with the escalating rate, doesn't buy even anything useful. So we urge the government to pay a beam on time. I think it will also address some of the problems that we have. The whole school should be on beam. Not they are not even able to pay the fees, even those who are not on beam, and also to change their criteria in beam selection. In this area, in Jimba, I mean Jimba Peri, Harare, Eben, at the border of Harare and Jimba. The parents here cannot even afford to pay for the fees because they are not employed. They are just vendors in town, and we expect those parents to pay fees. So the government should use on that. Government doing, they are not paying anything for education. That is why we are having a lot of school dropouts.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade President, for that detailed feedback with regards to beam issues of teacher-learner ratio and your personal stories with regards to that. And now, if we at some point we hear government, of course, I agree with you that now that there is state-funded education as at law, we no longer need beam as a model. What we now need maybe are education grants for all learners being distributed on equity basis. So resources should be distributed to all learners, not to select, because the majority of our people can no longer afford to fund for education. I want to go back to Comrade Longina, who is here now. We are still to hear from here. Whilst you give feedback to all the other issues raised by other comrades, can you jump to the issue of electricity and internet connectivity in schools from where you are? What is the situation like? We hear government celebrating that they have made tremendous success with regards to internet connectivity and electricity. What is the situation from where you are? You have to unmute. Okay. Unmute yourself, Comrade Longina.
All right, I did.
Yeah, you can
Can
go
you
ahead
hear me
now.
now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, thank you. So I think we have already experienced that. We say that a lot, but it will be just 2 or 3 schools that will have that access. But out of the 20 schools that you can have learned from a certain geographical area, you will realize that only 2 of the schools will be electrified, they have internet access, but majority of the schools, especially here in rural schools, they don't have any access to that. And if they use internet or the electricity. Those who are benefiting are maybe from the admin. The internet will not be reaching to the schools, to the classrooms, and if they try and make sure that the internet reaches to the classrooms, it will be of no use because there are no gadgets that the children or the pupils can use in their classrooms for them to access the internet. For they still need for us and maybe the government to help us with this internet connectivity and then to electrify roads because most of them they do not have electricity. And surprisingly, ICT is taken to be a serious subject that we have to be studied in our curriculum. But we don't have the tools that we need to use. There are no equipment, there are no machines, there's nothing, practically nothing. And some of the teachers, they don't even have the experience, they don't know how to do it. So you will see that it's just on paper, but practically nothing is being done. No schools are, many of the schools are not electrified. A lot of schools do not have internet. So I think on that area, there needs to be a revisit and a lot has to be done for that to be achieved, for those schools to have the internet and for them to be electrified.
Okay, thank you so much, Comrade Longina, for that detailed feedback. We have advocated at ATUS that the resources that are being paid by people when you buy electricity, you contribute towards the Rural Electrification Fund. And we have urged government to dedicate such funds toward the electrification of our rural schools. There are also resources which we contribute towards the Universal Service Fund when you are buying airtime, and we've urged government to use those resources for connecting our rural schools to the internet. And again, like you said, there are some schools that are said to be connected to the internet, but the internet maybe is only serving administration purposes, but not serving all the learners that are supposed to benefit from such a facility. So now I will go to Comrade the Togarepi again. Now, Comrade Togarepi, I want your feedback with the state of the implementation of the heritage-based curriculum. You can also add your views with regards to other issues that we asked from other comrades if you have anything to add, but I want your attention with the status of the implementation of the heritage-based curriculum, in addition to anything else you wanted to add from what colleagues said.
Thank you, Comrade President. On the issue of the heritage-based curriculum, I think it was a noble project by the government to conscientize our learners on the prime aspect of the heritage, the role that the heritage plays in the development of the learner, in the development of the society. It is quite a noble idea, and as such, as teachers, we are really grateful for the idea. But however, the idea is not without problems, as we see is only in coming up with the idea that we know that our government is really successful. It has been successful in launching the idea, but however, when it comes to the groundwork, it is actually something that is very worrisome, because the new idea is not supported by anything, only workshops for the teachers, but we have no material. We have no material to help learners. Most subject areas have no textbooks. Most subject areas like mathematics, most subject areas like science, they do not have enough textbooks. We are only having one textbook for the teacher who has got the role of preparing lesson notes, has got the role of preparing all the activities that must be, all the material that must reach out to the learners. That makes the exercise very grueling on the part of the teacher. The burden is too heavy for a teacher to carry. No matter how hard we try to feel comfortable with carrying this tormenting burden, but at the end of the day, it's going to strain us. One other notable thing about the heritage-based curriculum is that it needs funding. There's no way we can talk about something great and then we fail to put money on it. If we need the idea to become successful, the government has got to do it the quoted way, that they've got to run around seeking for donor funds in order to make the implementation of the heritage-based curriculum successful. Because without textbooks, we are actually taking our teachers and our learners for a ride. Because the primary source of reference is the textbook. We constantly use the discovery method in our teaching method in order to avail the material to the learners without giving them textbooks, without helping them understand the primary source of the information with which we are trying to empower them. Then we are not doing anything, because most of the times when we lecture to the students, they can only retain 10% of what we have given to them. So we need the government to be particularly serious in coming up with funds, in disbursing funds. We know that there are so many projects in which the government is getting money from, but then the government is not doing enough in extending the money to reaching out to the projects so that they become successful. On the other aspect that you raised concerning internet connection and the rural electrification of schools, it is a very slow process. No matter how vocal they may be concerning the rural electrification and the way they are spreading internet, it is a very slow process which is actually taking place at a total space. So in political circles, we can celebrate and talk about it, but on the ground, there is actually nothing that is taking place. We have got only yesterday, our local MP was celebrating the connection of Muroi High School. Where they were saying they have connected electricity, but coming on the internet, the facilities that which are our internet providers, they are giving us an internet system which cannot operate larger schools like the one in which we work, like most government schools. They cannot actually do with that internet facility provided by Potras. The network is poor. It cannot go for, especially about 300 meters. It cannot cover the whole school system. It can only cover the administration block. The government needs to do something very serious in order to make sure that this thing they are trying to deal with, called education, is actually something that is very big, and it is one particular determinant which demonstrates our government's ability to empower, our government's ability to develop the nation. If we cannot be serious in developing our children or the children of Zimbabwe, we are actually doing a disservice in empowering the human resources. Because once we give knowledge to the learners, we have done half of developing our nation as Zimbabwe. Thank you very much, Comrade President.
Thanks so much for, again, Comrade Danisa. That's really helpful to really appreciate the state of connectivity in rural schools, with all the political talk that is going on, and your feedback on heritage-based curriculum, that it needs funding. It's not enough just to launch the idea, like you called it. We need to go a step further and ensure that there are resources to implement that particular idea. Now, I will go back to President Kayumba with two issues that are topical these days at policy level. We have had discussions around continuation of education for pregnant girls. For us, we believe it's progressive to say pregnant girls, they should be allowed to continue with their education because at the end of the day, they still need to take care of themselves and the child when they become adults themselves. And even those boys who are impregnating them, they also continue with their education. So we want to hear, are pregnant girls continuing with education? What is the situation? What are you hearing from different communities? Then the issue of corporal punishment. How are teachers really receiving the outlawing of corporal punishment, and what is the impact on the school discipline? Comrade President.
Okay, I will answer maybe basing on our school experience or maybe our district, Jimba, as an example. At our school, it is happening, and but it's not funded by the government. There is a non-governmental organization which is funding the girls. We have about 12 teen mothers who have been enrolled to continue 3, and others they are writing, about 5 of them are writing their O levels this year. So this non-governmental organization has been funding them with uniforms, have been funding them with books, that is stationery, anything that is needed for them to go back to school. And they've been also paying their school fees. I understand the fees they are paid timelessly. And recently, when we closed the schools, they embarked on a project of layers, about 30 layers were availed to them so that they can use the money as personal use, and also to support the kids at home, maybe in buying soap and milk as supplements. Last time we had a teen mother who was also breastfeeding again, and there were some challenges. I think there is need for really look at it, because the mother was coming from a distance, and she needed to first breastfeed the child and then come to school, and she would break early again and go back to look after the child. So as of government, I didn't hear the continuation of education, but their partners are in education. Maybe it's offering through partners in education, but indeed it is happening. The girls, they are coming back to school, but there is need for it to be extended, because they understand in time we have dropped out and need to continue. So I believe it should be a continuous call, because we experience these dropouts continuously at any school. Can you come again on the second part of your question, President?
Okay, no, it was on corporal punishment. It was on corporal punishment to say our teachers welcoming
President.
Hello? Can you hear me, Comrade
Okay,
President?
I got it. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, there's some no feedback that is coming from your end. I'm not sure what is. There's a speaker or something that is now making.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Punishment. The discipline of the school. The teachers, they no longer control the kids well, because they know you can't do anything to him or to her. And most the community, they complain about the behavior of the school. But as teachers and also as policy observers, there is nothing that we can do. So there are some ways that they have advised that we can help in controlling and also bringing back good behavior to the students, but they are not applied. Especially our schools in peri-urban, where they are much influenced by their surroundings, and they bring the behavior back at school. So I feel in most schools they should be deployed some social workers who would help maybe in counseling the students so that they stay in track. Uh, Discipline has been left only for the admin, and in most cases the admin, they are absent from schools. The headmasters and also the deputy head is always away on meetings, on workshops, and it leaves the school just as a playground. So I would recommend that a lot of things be done, especially the counselors, the social workers, especially at my school. There is need for a social worker to be deployed, because the behavior of the students is so alarming. You'd find students who would consume what they call the uh, and ganja biscuits at school, and you can't even discipline such children, and there is need uh, for counseling or social workers who would take the students bit by bit until they are well behaved. So this call of corporal punishment, I think there is need for the government to really address it, and also try to help the schools in disciplining the students in a way that they advise and also that they want, without applying the whip to them.
Yeah, there you have it, viewers. It's so clear that we have a mirage of challenge in the education system, and the issue of child pregnancies. We need to continue to encourage parents to encourage our learners to continue with education, even if they are pregnant. But we are not encouraging the girl child to get pregnant, but we also have to engage in comprehensive sexuality education to safeguard, to protect our learners, so that they fully appreciate their bodies and they don't fall pregnant before they achieve their major dreams. But if by any chance they get pregnant, we don't want them to drop out of school. In 2024 alone, we lost 3,433 girls from both the primary and secondary. 109 girls were from primary and 3,324 were from secondary. But we can help each other as a nation to reverse this trend and have more girls continuing with their education. And again, like what the Vice President said corporal punishment, we insist that teachers have to be trained on other methods of maintaining school discipline outside the use of corporal punishment. There should be social workers that are also deployed to school to assist with counseling services. Now, as we go to close this particular show, which has been an eye-opener. I want to go back to my panelists, beginning with Comrade Logi Narufu, to just go to the issue of the teachers. I know every time when the schools are opening, teachers will say, we are not going back to work, we are incapacitated. Then he said, but now there is a legal reform that is undergoing of the Public Service Act itself. If you read it, and what do you want captured in it? What can be improved so that the relationship between the teacher and the employer, between the teacher and government, is improved to deal with this issue of incapacitation? What can be changed on the laws and on schools opening? Are you, as an individual, going back? And then what are your final recommendations as we close? We begin with you, Comrade Long Enough.
Oh, okay, thank you, Chris. On that issue of incapacitation, I think every other teacher will agree with me that we are incapacitated, and we have been incapacitated for quite a long time now. If you look at it for the rest of this year, our salaries will never reviewed. We tried so many ways that we could, but at the end of the day, we are forced to go back to work. And this has resulted in the teachers trying to improvise their salaries. Some are going there just for as their selling point so that they can sell their GPs, their Swiss, their visit to add on to their profits. Some of them are going there for this so-called extra lessons, which is milking the pocket of the parents, which are the produced parents that are already struggling with the paying of the school fees. And after they paid the school fees, the extra lessons issue pops up because the teachers are incapacitated. So I think there is a lot that needs to be done and needs to be addressed. We need the government to hear us out. The government needs to hear us out so that we sit down and talk about how best can the teachers be capacitated. Because right now, if you look at it, their salaries, the teacher salaries are coming maybe on the 19th of September. That will be 2 weeks after opening. The teacher that he has to go to school and work as a government worker, the kids. Those kids need to be sent to their own schools. It means that the teacher doesn't have the money to do that. Most schools, especially, most teachers, especially those who are in rural areas, they need to travel quite some long distances so that they can be at their workstation. They need quite a lot of money. Some now we have two families. The one that the teacher is at his or her workplace, and the one that they have where their children are. So you see, those people need to balance the two. And how do you then balance that? The salary that you get at the end of the month cannot sustain us to the following week. Before we know it, the salary is vanished. So indeed, we are incapacitated. And going back to school right now, going back to work is really a challenge. I, for one, I really don't know what we are going to do, but all I know is I am incapacitated. And I am sure most teachers agree with me that right now we are incapacitated. And going back to work on the 9th of September is a challenge that we really can't face right now. Maybe after the 19th of September, when the cleanup that we have would have been distributed in our accounts, maybe then we can start thinking about something else.
Thank you so much for that clarity to say you have to wait for the salary, then you will be able to go back to work. In the past, we have urged the government to consider an allowance that is disbursed toward the schools opening every time when towards schools opening. We have argued that such an allowance would, in the short term, address the incapacitation crisis, which has been a perennial challenge. People complaining about bus fares. So we have urged the government to say, whenever schools are opening, maybe you are depositing just $200 for the whole term, which is just a cushioning for teachers. Such an allowance, we are convinced, would go a long way to ensure that our schools open open efficiently, and that our learners do not lose learning time, whilst we still engage on other matters to permanently address the working conditions. I want to hear from you, Comrade Comrade Togarepi Danisa. I was looking at the issue of the Public Service Act bill. Have you read it? How do you think it can be strengthened? Then the issue of schools opening. Are you going to go to school yourself? Are you going to be in the classroom on schools opening day?
Okay, thank you, Comrade President. Unfortunately, I have not read on the publication by the Public Service. I noticed you posted it on our platform, but I never had the time to look at it. But I'm going to find some time to look at it so that I will give you my feedback. But on the issue of schools opening up next week, and then attending lessons, that's a very big task. It's not possible. It's not possible because there's no way I can find bus fare to travel. We are locked up in some situations where there is nothing left for the teacher after paying school fees for my 2 children who are in boarding school. I have nothing else left in my pocket. I don't have bus fare. My 2 kids are going to school without any tax. I only managed to save $10 for their traveling costs, and from there's nothing. There's nothing for us to eat. We are in a very poverty-stricken situation, but there's nothing the government is doing to show remorse on the situation that they have put ourselves in. They say the public service, the civil servants, the teachers in particular, they are languishing in abject poverty. The government has paid adamant attention to our loud cry for an adjustment in our remuneration. We continue to plead with the government to be reasonable, to be rational, to be sensitive to those matters that are obtaining on the ground, that they should give teachers a decent salary. If ever they fail to do that, they should be considering to give us a cost of living adjustment, so that at least we can come up with some way to start on, because we are actually hit hard on a hard ground. So please, our leadership, we need this message to be read out clearly to the government, so that it reconsiders the welfare of the teachers, so that they can actually be able to work in an enabling environment. If the government cannot be in a position to adjust our salaries, therefore we need the public service document to consider that teachers must be engaged with the learners for at least, or for at most 3 days a week, so that we can spend the rest of the time running around trying to fend for our families. Teachers are human beings also. They have got families. We are not like Roman Catholic fathers who are tied to the cloth, who are married to Jesus, where they can do without any other social and social responsibilities. We need to take care of our families. We are human beings too. We need to wear a smile on our faces at the end of each and every passing day. So without doing that, teachers are stuck in a situation where government can only resurrect them after paying a cost of living adjustment. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you so much, my brother, and we really appreciate such honest feedback. And now we insisted that if there is going to be an action, it should not be an isolated solution action where each individual chooses to independently withdraw labor, because in that way we are not doing justice to the learners. If teachers are not able to go back to work, it should be a collective action which forces the employer to address such a crisis. Comrade, the Vice President, you have heard from your teachers that they are not ready. What is the position of the union going forward?
Okay, that's what the teachers are saying. So, as a union, we represent the teachers. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but there's some feedback coming from you. We are not sure what is. There's a phone or something close which is giving feedback. You could remove it.
Okay. I think as a union, we have heard from our members that they are incapacitated. They cannot return to work. They don't have money for bus fares. They don't even have money for school fees of their children. I'm also a parent. My child needs around $600 for his body fees, and my is $200. So also as a parent, I'm not able to send my child to school. Maybe I'll wait until I am paid, like what comrade from Mashonale has said.
Comrade,
yes.
Can you try to remove any other gadget that is close to you, which is coming up?
I think I just network challenges.
Okay, maybe we can just quickly round off.
Okay, I think we need to declare incapacitation for our members. Our members are something in terms of an allowance, like what they have said. Maybe government should into it and deposit something in the this step is very crucial because we are going to have
unfortunately, we seem to have completely lost you now. We will have to stop here, but we really appreciate the feedback now was excessive. We couldn't even hear what you were saying. Not sure what gadget is close to you, but I want to appreciate each one of you for taking time to participate in this particular conversation. We would urge parents, teachers, and even learners to organize online platforms to consult each other on what has to be done. The problem of access to education affects our almost 6 million learners. There is a child going to school in every household in Zimbabwe. We should find a permanent solution to the Zimbabwean education crisis. And it is our encouragement for ACTUS to organize parents, teacher, learner meetings across the board, to organize such platforms across the board to and come up with the resolutions that are agreed to by parents, that are agreed to by teachers, by learners, and then make concrete submissions to government, be it through petitions or otherwise. We want to salute the communities in Mutare, Mashonaland East, among others, who last term came together and staged the protests jointly, experienced teachers and learners. It is still possible to find permanent solutions to the education crisis. And once again, thank you so much for being part of the conversation. Thank you, our viewers, for taking time to watch these presentations. And we urge you to contribute your own suggestions on how we can make Zimbabwe's education awake again. Remember, our education has been our source of pride for years. We don't want to lose this critical sector that has kept Zimbabwe ticking. We've come to the end of our podcast. Thank you so much.
Mai,